day 2 of Maddie's garage. Whew. Last night the wife was talking to the in-laws. I decided to sneak out and figure out what I'd really gotten myself into. So I grabbed a flashlight, crawled under the Bronco. First thing I noticed was starter solenoid cable went nowhere. So I went down to where the starter motor should be, and there's a huge hole. So gonna need to pick up a starter motor. This is where you got to use your brain. Don't forget, you also need to pick up the bolts that hold the starter motor on, because you don't want to get here with your brand new starter motor and then have to run back out to the hardware store. A couple of things I noticed. There's fuel lines that go nowhere, so I followed them down to the back of the Bronco. That is the filler cap for the secondary fuel tank, and if you come down you see that goes absolutely nowhere. It just kind of drops off, and I'm really glad I checked, because I would have looked pretty stupid at the gas station going to fill that thing up. The truck came with this class 3 receiver hitch, all's well and good, but then I saw this sort of continuing bar, which is basically 2 pieces of flat stock that go around and then sort of tie up, and they're booger welded to a cross member on the frame. Kind of a strange setup. Not really sure why the PO did that or how that's supposed to help anything, but that's gonna have to come off. I'm also looking around here. I'm seeing this fuel tank is connected, and I don't see any visible leaks, so hopefully that'll bode well for starting it up. Last night as I was poking around the truck, I took the distributor off. There is no rotor, so I'm gonna have to pick up another rotor. A little bit of pitting rust on there, and obviously I think the points are long gone. Something else I noticed while I was poking down here is that this carburetor has this tube that sort of snakes around and goes, it's got some heat shielding, but it goes absolutely nowhere. It's hollow, so I don't know what that does. Yeah, to be honest, there's a lot about this carburetor I don't know. I've never worked on a Motorcraft carburetor before. I'm used to Holleys. I have a Holley on my 350 that's in my International. So I'm gonna need to do a lot of learning. But my plan is to break open the fuel line. And once I get the starter and the solenoid hooked up, try to turn the engine over. I know it's not seized, and then see this fuel come out. If that's the case, then at least I know there's fuel getting to the carb. And if I can get spark to the spark plugs, well, that means I'm halfway to starting. So we'll see how it goes. Now, yesterday I mentioned that my biggest fear is electrical system and fire. So my plan is to actually unhook everything from the starter solenoid except for only what I need to get this car running. That way I'll isolate the entire electrical system and then don't have to worry so much about fires. Gotta love those candid moments. All right. Still day 2 of the Bronco resurrection. I just couldn't resist getting started. I've got a business trip to Pittsburgh tomorrow, and the idea of leaving town for 4 days and not getting any work done on the Bronco is just killing me, and the wife and the kids understand that. In fact, my daughter came with me. She made the Freiburger shopping list or to-do list for the Bronco Get It Started project. I explained to her that we got to get it started, then we're going to see if it goes, then we're going to worry about it stopping. Obviously, I'm not joking a little bit, but only a little bit. I got a new Superstar battery. The battery was toast. I wanted to get a battery tray because that one's rotted out, all rusted out. Couldn't get a metal battery tray at the auto parts store, but I got a starter. There's no starter in there. Condenser and points, distributor cap, rotor, cables, spark plug wires, solenoid, remote solenoid, engine oil, some radiator flush, some PB blaster, and that whole shopping list came out to spark plugs, if I didn't say that, $375 for all that, plus a couple bolts for the starter that we talked about at the local hardware store. So I'm gonna go throw the coveralls on, and I'll see you under the truck. Yeah. Sure enough, guys, I've already made my first mistake. I don't have a hex bit this big, so I'm taking my T50 Torx bit, and I'm not going to really wrench down on it. I'm just going to get it on there to hang the starter motor snug enough to do the work. I'm not planning on driving this car, just want to get it started. So I'm going to do that, and then you know, just kick myself for being so cool that I bought something I don't have a bit for. Don't stray from the formula. Okay guys, moment of truth. So what I've done so far is I've just wired up the battery to the ground on the engine block, and I've wired up the solenoid hot to hot and the solenoid to the starter. So what I'm going to do now is very simply jump to see if the starter motor will engage. So here goes nothing. Nice.